Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Allie's Book Nook. Today I'm going to share with you all of the books that I acquired for June 2026. So there's a lot here. If I counted them right, there's about 37 books. 14 of them are from the Book Outlet $5.99 sale, which I already shared in a separate video, so I'll save those till the end. But the rest of these I haven't talked about. So we have some new, some used, some gifted. Quite the variety here. We're going to start with the new books, aside from the Book Outlet ones. And we're going to start with a couple that were sent to me by the author. So we have here Ride the Spiral. This is Ben Young's new book. This just came out end of May. And I have read this. I was lucky enough to read the ARC copy, and I really, really loved it. But I am a physical book girly, so I'm thrilled to have the physical copy here. I can add to my collection of his books up there. And with that, he also sent me a copy of Baby Cry Bridge. And this is a very short story. Not very short, but it's a short story. I actually did read this. I read it in one sitting and it was really good, but I'll be talking about this in my monthly wrap up. But anyway, Ride the Spiral is a great book. I did review it before and I will be rereading it. I did want to show you guys. Okay, so this one, and I got some swag with them. I got Ben Young Stories sticker, an awesome Ride the Spiral bookmark. So one side looks like the cover of the book, and the other side, it's like the father and son's hands reaching out to each other. And then a card for Ben Young and his wife Lauren have a channel, Youngs and the Restless, here on YouTube. It's like book content, and that is a card for that. You guys should definitely check it out if you haven't. But anyway, so Ride the Spiral, this copy, it says, "To Allie, enjoy the ride," and it's signed by him. And one thing I really love about this physical copy is the start of each chapter has, what do you call it? Like dark mode. It's like black page with white lettering. So that's pretty cool. So very happy to have both of these. The Baby Cry Bridge book, this is a self-published one, and it says, "To Allie, may you never ever change," signed by Ben Young. That's really great. And then the Ride the Spiral is published by his new publishing house that he is with now, called Wicked House Publishing. So anyway, those were both gifted from the author Ben Young. So thank you so much for that. I love these. Okay, we have, I think, two more new books aside from the book outlet haul. And this one is Summit Lake by Charlie Donnelly. This was in like Amazon Prime sale, but like pre-Prime sale, and it was like $7. I do want to read all of Charlie Donnelly's books. I have, I think, 4 more to read before his new one comes out in January. And I read one in June, so watch for my review on that. But this is his debut novel, Summit Lake. So also from Amazon. I've been wanting this book forever, and it was on sale, and it's been in my wish list for like probably a couple years now. This is The Sleep Experiment by Jeremy Bates. I don't remember how much I paid for this, but it was cheap too. It was, I want to say, under $10. And this one actually looks like it might be self-published, but this is a horror book. So I don't think I said the Ben Young books are horror. Ride the Spiral's cosmic horror. This Charlie Donnelly Summit Lake is a thriller. And then this Jeremy Bates book, The Sleep Experiment, is a horror book. I think he has a few of these in kind of like a series of standalone books, but this is basically about experiments done to see how people react with sleep deprivation. So sounds pretty interesting. The rest of these are pretty much used. So I got this off of Amazon used, and this is The Drift by CJ Tudor. I think I paid like $4 something, under $5 for this. And this is like a dystopian horror thriller type book. And it has like several different stories of people during like a post-apocalyptic event in like secluded winter snowstorm. Sounds awesome. Can't wait to read that one. I got two CJ Tudor books this month, and I haven't read anything by her yet, so definitely plan to soon. In a little free library, I got this book, Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. This looks to be like a YA horror book, and it's quite chunky, but it was free, so let me know if you guys have heard anything about that one. I hadn't really heard of it before. At Goodwill for $3 for hardback, I got All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood, and I've heard really good things about this book. This is, I think, like a contemporary fiction with a little bit of a romance trope, but it says it's a beautiful and provocative love story between two unlikely people and the hard-won relationship that elevates them above the Midwestern meth lab backdrop of their lives. So this did win Book of the Year in 2016 for Book of the Month. Okay, I guess we'll keep going with my Goodwill ones here. For $2 for paperback, we have The Shadows by Alex North. He wrote The Whisper Man, which I do plan on reading very soon because they're going to have a Netflix adaptation of it as a movie in August that's released. So want to read The Whisper Man, but this one is also like a thriller, and yeah, The Shadows. I got this at Goodwill for $2.50, and this is The X by Alifair Burke. I have one of her other books, and I thought it was a series with this one, but now I don't think that they are. But I've had this in my holds for audio with Libby for a while, so excited to read that. I've heard really good things about her, but I haven't read her yet. This was a cool Goodwill find for... Okay, I think the paper, I always get confused. I think paperbacks are $2 and hardbacks are $3. So we're just going to go with that. But September House, this is maybe more of like a literary horror, but it's about a house that basically the walls bleed every September. And I think this would be a good book to read in September. I wanted to read it for a long time. And that is by Carissa Orlando. $3 for hardback. We have Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Never read this, but it is kind of a classic literature dystopian type book, so I like those kind of books. Next one. I was trying to think here. I think this is from Goodwill. I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackey. And this is probably like maybe, I want to say maybe a crime mystery, contemporary fiction. I don't know that I would call it thriller, but it sounds like there's some thriller elements in it. Like, is the killer still out there? That type of thing with a podcast element. So this sounds good. A friend of mine also picked this up used this month, so maybe we'll read it together at some point. Goodwill, we have Unravel Me, and this is by Tahara Mafi. So this is part of a series, the Shatter Me series, and this is actually the second book in the series. I see these enough at Goodwill where I picked up this one, and I probably won't pick up any more until I can get my hands on the first one and read it to see if I like it, because there's like 8 books in this series. It's a sci-fi dystopian YA series, but her husband, I've never read any of her books, but her husband is Ransom Riggs, and he writes YA books, and he wrote the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series, which I absolutely love, one of my favorite series. And so I don't know how her writing style is going to compare to his, but I am interested in giving it a try. So Unravel Me, second book in the Shatter Me series. I believe it's the second. And then that might be it for Goodwill. This is a little free library haul, and this is The Drowning Kind by Jennifer McMahon. So I've really been wanting to read a Jennifer McMahon book. She wrote The Winter People. She wrote I think it's called The Invited, which I also have. And she's a horror author, but maybe more literary horror. And this actually sounds like it's maybe a little more like a thriller with maybe a little bit of gothic elements. Yeah, so anyway, I'm excited to give this a try, and that is The Drowning Kind. Okay. Garage sale finds. I got this for 50 cents at a garage sale. This is The Searcher by Tana French. She's probably most well known for, now I can't think of it. I was going to say The Winter People, but that's not right either. In the Woods. That's it. In the Woods. And I do own that. I haven't read it. So, this, I believe, is like a thriller, maybe more a little bit of like a slow burn type thriller, but it takes place, I think, in Ireland. So for 50 cents, I had to give it a try. Also, on that garage sale trip, I got used, missing the cover, but this is Don, how do you say this? Don Quixote? Don Quixote. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I should learn how to say it. This is a classic. This is considered like the first modern novel, and it was written, I think, in the 1700s. I want to say it was written in the 1700s, and I'm trying to find it in here, and I'm not seeing it. But, oh, wow. 1500. Well, the author, he lived 1547 to 1616. And this book, when I read last year, Count of Monte Cristo, which is the same style cover as this, Edmond Dantes, the main character, he referenced this book a lot. So at some point I'll read this. It's quite thick. It's about 1,200 pages, but I had to get it. It was free. Okay. So this next little stack of books here, a friend of mine and we went to a used bookstore one day, little local place. I think it's called like the Last Best Bookstore. And I actually have some great finds I got from there. So I did find The Gunslinger. That's the first book in the Dark Tower series. And if you watched my May book haul, I got like the second and third book in the series. And, you know, I'm planning on collecting them all. I think now that I have the first one, I'll just read the first 3 and make sure I like it before I get any more. Because there's like 8 of them in the series. But this is a classic. This is more like fantasy. It's Stephen King, but I think it's more fantasy than horror. I'm sure there's horror elements in it. The owner of the bookstore said that this series, like she said, this series saved my life. She said I was in the hospital and I read the whole series in, I think she said like 8 or 9 days. So, that's pretty good. And so it has a special place in her heart. So, that's pretty cool. And this looks like a movie adaptation cover. All the ones I have are like different adaptation covers, different covers. Okay. This next one, actually, okay, yeah, this next one, I was so excited. You guys, I have been looking for this version of this book for over 20 years. I swear, I finally found it. And this is The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide, 5 complete novels and 1 story by Douglas Adams. But look at the edition with the leather cover and binding and the gold sprayed edges and the silk bookmark. I was thrilled. You guys, I couldn't believe it. So I first read this story in high school, fell in love with it. Well, all 6 of the stories in the book. But about 20 years ago when the movie came out, I saw this edition at a store we used to have called Hastings. And I wanted to get it, but I was like a poor college student. Let's see. That would have been 2005. And so 21 years ago, I couldn't afford it. And so I didn't get it. And I regretted it ever since. I've looked for it online. Everything, could never find this particular edition. So when I saw this there, and I think it was, I want to say it was like $15. I had to get it. I was thrilled. So this, I'll show you. I actually have two other versions that this is going to replace. This is the one my brother got me for Christmas way back in the day. Big, chunky paper or hardback. This is also hardback, but takes up much less room. And I'm going to unhaul this now, as well as I had also got a more portable paperback copy. And I'm going to unhaul this as well, too. This has some water damage, so I'll probably put that in a little free library. But yeah, so excited to have this for my collection. I do want to go back and reread it sometime. It's like, it's been around a long time. I think it was first published in like the 70s or 80s, but it's like sci-fi comedy. Kind of like, if you like Monty Python, that kind of stuff. It is like that kind of British humor. And I think it was first a radio show back in the day. They made a movie of it in the early 2000s with, who was in that? Mobb Deep, I think. And yeah, this holds a special place in my heart because I read this when I was like really falling in love with reading, back in high school, and to have this beautiful edition that I've been on the hunt for 20 years. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. I got a few more books from that bookstore. This one I'm currently reading right now, 4th of July Creek by Smith Henderson. I want to say this was like $7. I don't know. Her prices were not the greatest, but I got 20% off for donating some books. So all the books I got there were like 30 something. It wasn't bad. Yeah, this was $7. So this is a literary fiction. It came out in 2014 and was on the 100 notable books from the New York Times Book Review. This takes place in Montana, which is where I live. And so I am recognizing some of the towns and locations that they talk about, but I basically am reading it, A, because a friend recommended it to me, but B, because in honor of 4th of July, which is going to be here in just a few days, 4th of July Creek. So yeah, I'm excited. I don't read a lot of books that take place like local to me. So another book I got this is another book that my friend recommended to me in the store, and that is Night by Elie Wiesel. And I actually just finished reading this. So watch for my review of this in my June reading wrap up. Loved it. This was so good, but so sad. This is a biography about, the author was in concentration camps in World War II in Germany, including Auschwitz, as well as like other locations. But he was a teenager and he survived to tell about it, and he wrote a book about it. And I feel like I'm really late to the game reading this. A lot of people know about it, have read it, read it in high school, as assigned reading, that type of thing. I missed the boat then, but I'm so grateful to have experienced it now. This was a great book. I don't want to talk too much about it right now, but I would highly recommend it. It's hard though. It's thin, but it's hard. I read this because I wanted a quick book, but it was not an easy book to get through emotionally. Okay, also from that bookstore, I got this book called Fire and Brimstone, The North Butte Mining Disaster of 1917 by Michael Punk. So this is a nonfiction book, which I guess Night was as well. So really kind of going out of my box here. But my friend, we read a lot of the same books in terms of like thrillers, fiction, that type of thing. But she also reads a lot of nonfiction. So I trust her judgment on those, and she highly recommended this as well. True story about a big mining disaster in Butte, Montana in 1917. And this was actually written by the guy that wrote The Revenant, which was made into that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. So I'm I heard that this reads more like a novel, but it is based on a true story where, I don't know, I want to say like 100 people died. It was a really bad disaster. Oh, within 3 days, 163 of them would be dead. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to reading this probably in July. Also, from the same place, I got Stephen King, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. I was having a great time in their horror section, and my friend, she doesn't read a lot of horror or Stephen King, but she did read this one and recommended it. So it's pretty short for a Stephen King book. And I don't know if I said the price on that last one. Not all of these have their price tags in them, but oh my gosh, you got to see this picture of Stephen King in the back. Oh, that's great. Okay. That's, looks good. And then I couldn't believe I found this there. They had just taken this in. This is Theo of Golden by Alan Levi. This is a contemporary fiction, very popular right now. I think it's a new release this year. And it's getting rave reviews out there. Chris from Wax Books and Whimsies, she loved this book. She just could not, her reaction to this book was great, and just based on that alone makes me want to read it. But I've heard great things about it, so I'm excited to give that one a go as well. Theo of Golden. I already put the audio on my Libby Holds. So those are all the books that you haven't seen before that I got for this month. I am going to show my book outlet haul as well. 14 more books here, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them because I already did a video just on these when I unboxed it. So if you don't want to see those again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next video. Otherwise, let's dive into these. All of these were $5.99 or less in the book outlet sale that they had, and it was all fiction, $5.99 or less. First time customer, I will be returning. Very happy with it. First one is Something in the Walls by Daisy Pierce. And I don't think I've read any of these, unless I say otherwise. The Engagement Party by Darby Kane. I love me some Darby Kane. Oh, this first one, I believe, is horror. Something in the Walls. Darby Kane is going to be thriller. Next one, kind of an action thriller writer, Alex Finley, Parents Weekend. Another thriller, She's Not Sorry by Mary Kubica. Can't wait to read that. I can't wait to read all of these. The first book I'm going to read out of this box, I believe, is going to be Whale Fall. Whale Fall by Daniel Kraus. I hadn't heard of this until I saw it in the sale. And when I did my unboxing of this, a bunch of people said, you need to read Whale Fall. It's really good. So I am going to read it. This is about a guy that gets swallowed by a whale, and he has an hour or something to escape. And it's supposed to be as closely linked to scientific accuracy as the author could do. So Whale Fall, I'm just going to set this. Yeah, I'll be reading that very soon. So that'll be going on my immediate TBR section of my bookshelf. Most of these have been hardback, but I did have a few paperbacks in here. The Chamber by Will Dean. This is a isolated thriller, trapped in a chamber under the sea with possibly a murderer on board with you. Next one is Warning Signs by Tracy Sierra. This is her new novel. This just came out this year. And I did read her debut novel in June, Night Watching, so watch for my review on that. But this is a thriller, kind of an isolated setting again in the Alaska wilderness. Her husband goes on a hunting trip and appears to be eaten by a bear, but it might be a cover-up because he might be a bad dude that has stuff to hide. Next one is Hardback of the Hitchhikers by Chevy Stevens. And these are all pretty newly released books. And this is a thriller. This couple picks up these hitchhiking girls in the 70s and things go bad. Next one is Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. A domestic thriller about this lady that lets a man into her life who is not what he seems. And this did just come out in paperback within the last month, I think in June sometime. Best Offer Wins by Marissa Cashino. think this is her debut novel, and this is a thriller about the lengths that someone will go to get the house of her dreams in a very competitive market. Next one is We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinenborough. Beautiful sprayed edges. This is a thriller. I've read one of her other books, Behind Her Eyes, and I did like it. So I think I'm going to like this one too. She's a British author. The other CJ Tudor book I got this month is The Gathering, and this sounds more horror. It's about vampires in Alaska. So I'm not huge on vampires, but I do love books that take place in Alaska, and I love like a cold, isolated setting, and so I'm going to give that a whirl. Next one is The Business Trip. This is Jessie Garcia's debut novel. This is a thriller. Heard a lot of good things about it. And then the last book here I have is The Cut by CJ Dotson. And this is a horror book. This sounds really cool. It's about I think it's about she's staying at a hotel and there's something coming out of the drain. So that sounds pretty cool. Creepy tale guaranteed to keep you reading well past midnight. So there you have it. All of the books that I acquired in June. Yes, it's a lot. I probably wouldn't have got that many if it wasn't for this book outlet sale. So we can blame them for part of it, but it was so fun. You know, if you are into books, you know that there's reading books as a hobby, and then there's acquiring books as kind of a separate hobby. And I just had a lot of fun this month with getting all these books. And now I better get to reading. I've read 80 books so far this year. But when I'm taking in like 30 a month, that's still, the math isn't mathing. So I'm going to try to be more conscious of it. But I'm never going to turn down a great book at a great price. So love thrifting and finding great deals and occasionally just buying a new book. Let me know your thoughts if there's any of these that I should read sooner than later or skip. And watch for my June reading wrap up. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.